I already made an error. I said, wait a minute, boom, or whatever, and there was no microphone. Dang, I'm so mad right now. Anyways, if you're wondering who the mad person is, it's randomly Ronnie Jr. Hello. Also co-host with the most, Russell Ray Silva.
Hey y'all,
Hey.
we back. We
Woo.
are back from down under.
You were gone. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
You
going
were
down under in
away.
Australia.
Okay, so
Was
that's how
down
we're
there with
talking today.
with a lot of Aussies. It was great.
You had fun.
I did. Oh my god, it was such a blast. Kelly Rowland was amazing.
Oh, yes, I saw headlining.
But you know what she wore?
Oh, she wore the same thing that Teresa
She wore the
Giudice.
Spider-Man suit that everybody's wearing. Teresa Giudice,
Mhm.
Nene Leakes, Larsa Pippen, Lisa Hutchstein. I was like, she came out and Shane immediately started laughing at me because he knows how I feel about that cat suit specifically.
Mhm.
But I will say, because Kelly Rowland was all sequins, it looked better. The sequence adds to it, opposed to if it's just the material, then it tends to look like all of the Spider-Man costumes that everyone buys on Amazon for Halloween. But the fact that it had sequins gave it some embellishment. It gave it style. It gave it body. It gave superstar power, is what you want an outfit to be when you are a superstar. So I was a bit thrown off by it, but Kelly made it work, and I was glad to see her. It was great.
I like Kelly Rowland. I think she's very appropriate there at the World Pride. The time I was at World Pride was the New York one. Madonna performed. I mean, it was just a quick little medley of sorts, but still. But Kelly Rowland, I really start to think of, ooh, do you remember the song Motivation? That music video lives in my head rent free quite a bit.
Look, sorry, there's a spider on my wall and I had to smash it.
Okay, well, the spider had it coming. No, that's a vibe. That's a vibe.
She did. She came out. She did the thing. She had on like, oh my god, her hair was like gorgeous.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it. It was amazing. Her dancers.
Okay. Yes.
Delicious.
I always want my job in life to be, outside of being a great podcaster, one of the best ever. I keep telling myself this.
Yes.
I want to be a casting director who casts the physical look of the dancers. I have no skill set when it comes to dancing, so we'll get a real person to do that. But I want to choose the aesthetic because I just think I would be so good at it.
Let me tell you, baby. Her dancers. Kelly looks good.
That's what, a star. Yes.
Damn, she looks good. I mean, I bet you she ain't even had a cavity in her whole entire life. Her teeth are just like shing, just like pretty and pearly white. Her skin is flawless. I bet you she's never had a wrinkle. Like, Kelly Rowland looks amazing.
And she's likable too.
Very.
So here's my question to you, and we'll get into Real Housewives of Miami, episode 15 of season 5. You know that I had to do season 5, episode 14 by myself? Oh,
look.
I was like, where's my co-host with the most? And by the way, I was like, let me ask around, see who wants to join. And it was just one of those weeks while you were gone that nothing was really schedule-wise. Everything was kind of chaotic. Yeah. So I just leaned in. I said, I'm just going to do it alone. But to say, I'll say the fan base probably missed you there as a co-host because I tend to just go to my opinions. You've heard me. And I see red. And without having Russell to balance me, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Ronnie, slow down. Slow down. So I say that to say, do me a favor. If you're liking this episode, which you, of course, love this episode, and you're watching right now or listening, go on the other one, episode 14, and write something nice. Because I'm going to tell you, Russell, they're going to write some, they're going to rip me to shreds. They're like, why is he so mean? Look at, he's so busted. And he's going to talk about somebody else. I will, and I'm gonna.
And we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, but you were missed. I'm glad you're
busted. Hold on.
What a day it is, right?
My hair's like sideways. It's just not working.
I'm glad you're back. So that's the good thing. Here's my last question before we get into the Larsa show and the Marisol of it all and the Adriana, all the stuff.
Yeah.
My last thing is, how do you feel transitioning back into, you're like a workhorse. You're always doing all the things, trying to create this great big life. And then having all that fun coming right off your birthday and now getting back to it. Like, is it a bittersweet to get back into work, or are you excited to kind of be back here again.
No, you know what? I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to be home. Like Australia it was beautiful. We met some amazing people. We got invited to a influencers luncheon at the West Hotel in Sydney. Gorgeous hotel. Let me tell you, the bed, the backdrop, the shower, like we had plenty of photo shoots throughout that room and throughout that hotel. It was beautiful. So, and we met a very nice lady named Mika who showed us around, and she really like took us under her wing and invited us and gave us free rosé. You know I love rosé. But when you're doing something you love, you miss it. So I missed being here. I missed editing for my YouTube channel, which is when you and I do the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So I missed that. But what I will say, what I do miss from Australia is everybody there is 6'4". They're gorgeous, tan. They all got nice bodies, but you know what it is about you know what it is about Americans is we have such sugary diets. Their diets, it's not bland, but you taste the elements. So if you get a kale, apple, blueberry shake with almond milk with flaked coconuts, you're gonna taste every one of those elements. And here in America, you're just tasting sugar. So I understand why their bodies are nice. They're getting plenty of vitamin D. So when they work out, it looks good. They're
plenty of vitamin D. He says plenty of the D. Okay. I can relate to what you're talking about because I'm also very beautiful and gorgeous, and I can imagine.
Bitch, you better work.
I imagine Australia's my vibe.
I know that's right. Well, cheers to that.
I'm drinking my water. Yes. There we go. Keep it healthy until we don't.
This word, we don't have a word today.
I know. Isn't it a shame? Well, it's a good thing. We're kind of just as good, if not better, than the old Andy Cohen show.
Look, I ran into Andy Cohen.
Yeah, I say that with love. I'm saying that
I ran into Andy Cohen.
Tell me.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what blew my fucking mind? Is Andy Cohen is buff. We don't get to see it because he's always in suits.
Yeah.
But baby, when I tell you I saw him at Stonewall Hotel and his arms are like this big, I was like, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy, you better pass some of that over here, whatever juice you're drinking, because baby, look, I'm trying to look like Andy. Andy was stacked. I was like, okay, Big Papa. I felt like Kim Zolciak, season 1 of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
You can tell he's got. You're not that confident for no reason. You know what I mean?
He's got body.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah. And in a casual look too. Wow.
I was like,
wow. Yeah.
Is that Andy Cohen? Even Shane was like, is that Andy Cohen? I was like, that is Andy Cohen.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like, because
boy, you better work, Andy.
He's they call him daddy for a reason, I suppose. I don't know. But that's cool. That's a cool experience. A lot of people were out there for the World Pride. And that is a thing I'm going to put into existence. And sorry, by the way, if you're watching and you're like, on with it. Let's talk about Miami, and we will. Season 5, episode 15. I'm going to put that little bit of a manifestation. Like, it would be one thing to go and you guys went and had a great time. And I think you're on this manifestation element too. Next time there's a big Pride event, because I don't think they happen every year. I think they're every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I want to be working. Like I'm saying, did Andy Cohen go just to go, or was he there for a reason? It's nice when a check is attached. And I'm gonna really say, next World Pride, depending on where it's at, I want to be hired to do some type of radio show, podcast, live show, interviewing or bringing talent on stage. I've been in this business for over 20 years.
Yes.
I do okay. And I just want to start manifesting bigger things. You leaving and going over there, especially right after your birthday, and we celebrated your birthday. When you were back in town, it's like, you see like there's a much bigger world. Sometimes we get so involved in like Real Housewives of Miami, Real Housewives of Jersey. Yeah. It's nice to see the big shit. It is.
It's those of anybody who's watching this who has not traveled, do yourself a favor. Stop spending money on the stupid things in America. Like, stop buying the shirts that you don't need. Go dig into your closet, rewear some outfits, learn how to style yourself on what you can on a budget. use that money that you're saving and take yourself to explore this world, because I will tell you, it is enlightening. You gain a new sense of self. You gain a new sense of confidence. You make international friends as you connect. Those people can come stay with you. You can go stay with them. It saves you money on hotels. Look, broaden your minds. And I think coming back to the Real Housewives, broaden your minds. And I think this is why casts are always changing, because you can't get stuck with the same 6, 7 people, because the horizons are never going to expand. No one's ever going to be outside of the drama than what already is. You know, as we're seeing in this episode, Adriana and Alexia are digging from the past, from being one of Adriana's bridesmaids, to now fast forwarding to you're not there for me, you don't know me. And it's like, sometimes people in your life for a chapter and they gotta go. And it's not any bad, it's not any hatred, it's not any anything. If they're not elevating you, move on. If you're not living your life, move on. Enjoy yourself, enjoy who you are, enjoy life. Like, life is so short. And as a 31-year-old, like, I'll be lucky if I get the next 20 years healthily to enjoy my life. So I will tell you, and I want to add to your manifestation, you will be at World Pride Taiwan 2025.
Is that the next one?
That's the next one. 2025, with the podcast, on television, or radio show. And your manifestation cannot be complete until you know what the location is, and now you know you'll be in Taiwan.
Yeah. You got to really breathe it in and see it. So even on, as we're talking about Real Housewives of Miami, season 5, episode 15. Imagine if we make it to season 15, Adriana will still be like, I'm sad. No. The thing is too, with the manifestation or just the focus, Adriana, what we're learning is she has very real issues, but like you can't have, and I guess this is also looking in a mirror, speaking of looking in a mirror, like Nicole to Larsa, but even for me or you or whoever looking in a mirror, you can't have those issues and not process them fully and then lash out. That's very hurtful to a lot of people. Yeah. So there's such a side of me and you probably who are like really for Adriana, but it's like, she's not, you can't let me be there for you. And the fact that, you know, you were saying this would hurt your mother and no one's around you family wise, but then treat everyone in such a way. So coming off the end of the episode, going into the to be continued, what was your general viewpoint on how you saw Adriana saying that Alexia knows all about it because she had the accident with Frankie? And even that, I dare say, like, I'm recapping right now, but I don't like to say it. How did you react to all that?
I was actually fairly confused when she brought it up, because I was trying to process the relation to what she meant. And again, sometimes our problems seem grander than what they are. And I don't think Adriana's problems are that large. Yes, if she gets hurt, she's going to be down and out. But there are ways to work around it. And when you're a survivor, trust me, you will make everything happen. When I broke my foot, so I can speak from experience. When I broke my foot, I was still driving my car. I took myself to the doctor's, and my doctor's appointment was an hour and a half from where I was at, because I broke my foot in the middle of COVID and no doctors were taking on new patients. So I had no choice but to drive an hour and a half. I was taking myself to the grocery store because my mom is also in, her health is deteriorating rather quickly. And I have siblings who are consumed with their children. So I had nobody to have my back the way that I had to have my own back. Even like Shane and I were not living together. We were in separate households. So I get where Adriana's saying where she can't do things, but at the same time, when you're a survivor, you'll make it happen. So stop with the excuses, figure it out, and move forward, because I promise you, you'll be a lot stronger when you do that. Now, comparing it to an actual accident that happened, it's very unfortunate that you chose the wording that you chose, because what is going on in this house? Hold on.
Uh-oh. Not Adriana trying
here?
trying to walk in during a live broadcast. Adriana, we're just giving you advice. That's it.
This is like, it sounds
Well,
like damn near someone's breaking in my house. Wait.
Halloween is all year long. Picking up from that, and Russell will get all that hopefully
No,
situated.
we're good. We're good. I was like, what in the hell? Like I thought the rapture was happening. I just had to stop for a minute. Okay. Going back to Alexia and Frankie's accident. Look, that is a real life changing moment, meaning it's going to affect him for the rest of his life. If Adriana broke her foot, it's only 6 weeks to 9 months, depending on how bad the fracture is, depending on how fast her body heals, depending on what type of calcium and vitamins she takes. That is a very fixable event. Frankie's life is not fixable yet. So until God, God willing, somebody figures something out with stem cell research to where a brain can be healed from a traumatic event, this is what he has to live with for the rest of his life. So Adriana was in the wrong entirely. Should have never brought him up. And this has been a housewife rules for years, that you do not mention kids. Spouses are somewhat not off limits, but the kids are always off limits. So the fact that she brought that up as an example, she deserves to be in the doghouse for a minute, because you don't do things like that. It's classless, it's inconsiderate, and it's actually victimizing the victim again when you do something like that. It really puts them in a bad position to relive their traumatic experience, which is what I think is what she was lacking in understanding. And I think that's what the other girls were trying to acknowledge and portray on behalf of Alexia. But at the same time, none of the other girls should have got involved. They should have immediately separated both women and dealt with the situation separately and then recollected. But it didn't happen that way. And I wasn't satisfied with the way everybody was jumping in. And I understand why Julia tried to defend her, in a sense of everyone was ganging up on her because Adriana wasn't hearing. She was listening, but she wasn't hearing what she was saying. So
Yeah,
it was just a hard thing to watch.
Well, Julia has mentioned a couple times already, like, do I have that blind allegiance to Adriana? The problem with that, and we all know with friendships or any type of bond, you can't let everything go. If there's something that is, you got to chill, you have to tell the person you got to chill.
Yeah.
And Julia is kind of taking the other side of it. She's like, I'm going to defend and fight her. Or they always leave her on her own. It's like, Julia, maybe there's a reason, within the conversation and the comments at hand. I said this on the other episode. Real hurtful and real sad, because it was kind of going back and forth a little bit. And then Adriana says, well, this could happen and that could happen and this could happen and I could have done this. I don't know why the words could have hurt so much in terms of like supporting Alexia in the situation, because when I hear the words could have, it means it kind of takes, like you said, reliving the trauma, but it even takes you further, like before the trauma. It almost takes you before, when Frankie hadn't experienced this traumatic, life altering, nearly life defining or moment. It makes you take it to the place that, like, well, what could I have done to change this these odds that we now have to go through? That's where I went, and I just didn't like it. I felt really, really bad for her. I appreciate Nicole trying to be the peacemaker. But yeah, it just got too ugly. You're right. Split them up. We get to a point where Julia's with the ice with Marisol. It's like, this is not the show we're doing. I never loved the physical stuff. And to nip it in the bud, Adriana, all you needed to say was, ooh, I was way out of line. We're talking passionately, like run it back. And Adriana never did that. That's where the problem was. It wasn't even as much as what she said. It's that she was not willing to run it back at all.
You know what? There is this fine line, though, of the way Alexia has allowed people to treat Adriana. And this is in no way to defend her.
Yeah, but it's a perspective. Yeah.
But I understand why when someone gets the opportunity to not let up on someone, they take it regardless of what it is, because their mind isn't connecting what the actual hurt is going on, other than you've tried to have this upper hand on me the whole time. You've affected my relationship. You brought up someone's divorce, not divorce, and then you didn't take that back. So there's a lot of things that were built up in Adriana I can understand why she wouldn't immediately retract things and why she wouldn't let up on her stance, because Alexia has never let up on her stance.
Understand all that, but I still wish she wish she
would have chose a different example, and I wish that this wouldn't have aired. If I'm being completely honest,
because it's a line. It's the episode a line in the sand. Why do I always say that wrong? A line in the sand, and it really is. And yes, just because something's so compelling or so shocking, I don't know that we always need to see it on TV.
Yeah,
some things get a little too ugly, if you ask me.
I could have done without seeing that in the edit. It could have very much been like when and I hate to bring this up.
Oh God, I think I know what you're going to.
Housewives of New Jersey.
Oh, okay, no.
Okay, so back in season 2 or 3, Danielle, there was this incident that happened between Danielle, Dina, and Caroline Manzo. Danielle stopped, and this incident happened that nobody would bring up. And Danielle finally mentioned it on the reunion. And so basically Danielle called CPS on Dina for being an unfit mother.
Ooh.
Okay. It didn't make airtime, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
What I did not appreciate is that Danielle brought it up. And Caroline tried with all her power to stop Danielle from bringing that up. And so this is a situation very much like that, where it's just so personal and it's tender and it's very
it's not within good taste. Like there's other ways to create compelling programming. You know what I was going to go off of? This totally different example. I was going to say I've never been a Housewives of Beverly Hills fan, really, specifically because Kyle was boring on season 1, episode 1. Just never changed, and obviously they've ran with her, so the shows are always going to be a little lackluster. We got to get her out of there. And she's been there forever. So I never was into it, but I was definitely like feeling a little weird. And this is such a tangent, so I shouldn't, but I was feeling very weird that one could look at it as like, well, it's a business. And of course this is paramount to the story. But when, his name what was his name? The husband.
Mauricio?
No, Taylor. Taylor's husband.
Oh, Taylor Armstrong?
Was it your name? Russell?
Wasn't it Russell?
I think it was.
Yeah.
When that had happened, I was like,
yes, his name was Russell.
Surely they can't or wouldn't want to really run with this. It's just a little too dark. Like you got to start respecting it, even though in a lot of ways, or I can't speak for her, but I believe Taylor has mentioned many a times that was a valuable, well, not a valuable experience, but an experience that got her out of what she was going to go through and could have been worse for her.
Yeah.
But I just didn't need to see it back. I didn't need to see other cast members react to it. Like, didn't people really come down on Camille quite a bit? It's like you're making these women go on a show and they're supposed to just be funny, compelling, really into the serious issues, but some things are too far, and then you kind of put people in a space for failure, you know?
Yes.
Because I think Camille kind of crossed a line a little bit, but how do you even know? How do you know you're crossing a line? Obviously these other examples are maybe a little harsher than what Adriana, well, it's all relative, and it is all kind of similar. But I'm just agreeing with Russell here that I, as a viewer, don't need all of that. You could keep some stuff private. You could keep some stuff, like, I don't know. It just seems like if you're writing a script or whatever, I know we're going on all these tangents. I got to get focused here. You're going on all these you're writing a script. You don't always go to something that's so polarizing. You got to like arc that storyline to make it. And somehow Housewives is just like, oh, they committed fraud. Let's hire them for our show.
See, that's a little different to me. You know, you playing Russian roulette with something federally and all those things, because we just saw the thing with Todd LaChrysleys. We just seen that whole situation go down. Look, that is what rappers are talking about, you know, getting back at the government and having yours, right? Things like, we hear this in our music every day. So moments like Teresa Giudice going to Teresa Giudice going to prison with Joe Giudice going to prison, and then you see Jen Shaw going to prison, and you see the Chrisleys going to prison. These are real life moments that I actually don't mind seeing, because you're throwing yourself out there knowing that you're committing these things willingly, knowingly. So you're putting your life out there in a reality perspective. And I mean, in a lot of ways, I hope those situations taught viewers, don't do things that you're not going to be able to, don't do things because you're not going to get away with it, number one. But number two, our lives are all on this platform now that our grandparents and our parents did not have to deal with growing up. Now everything is online. You can find everything online. But in the instance of misfortune and mishap and tragedy, in the effect of like loss of life, altering life events, those types of things, I don't want to see on television. However, Jen Shaw going to jail, I don't mind. Teresa going to jail, I don't mind. We've seen it with Paris Hilton. We've seen it with a lot of other celebrities, and and they get through it, and we know they're going to get through it because there's an other side to it. Unfortunately, on the other side of tragedy, there's not an other side of it. It's done. Your life has changed forever, and you can never get anything back from that. So I think that's the difference between, Taylor Armstrong's husband and Frankie and their situations versus Teresa going to prison or Jen Shaw going to prison. One thing, there's another side to it, and you're going to come out of it, and you're going to come out stronger. The other side of things, you're forever affected, and it's going to forever change your life, and it's going to forever change the way that you engage or move forward. Alexia has to be worried now for the rest of her life of who's going to take care of Frankie. Will his brother really take on those shoes, or will his brother be consumed by having children and trying to raise them at the same time? These are all factors that are affecting everybody's life on the side. Taylor, on the other hand, can get a new husband, and her and her children can continue on with life. Yes, there's a dramatic loss, but it's like, I mean, not like,
yeah, no, look, nothing's the same. These are just yeah. Well, you know what? The show's polarizing.
I'm sweating. That's just like got deep.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, but that's what was interesting about watching that scene, is it made you feel all the things, and we were just going to different places to compare and contrast or whatever. Anyways, we'll put a button on that. I will say it's something I'll be interested to see be brought up in the reunion, because clearly that was quite a moment. And hopefully Adriana has a little remorse. That would be nice. Let's move on, because based on when the trailer first was given or posted, Leah Black back on the show was like a big deal. So I want to know what your thoughts of Leah and Lisa. Lisa, when we were first introduced to her, it was really as Leah's neighbor. So there is the actual connection. It's not just like a scene. It does kind of speak to a lot. I love the flashback. I love the flashback stating that, out of all that I'm going through, Leah's always sort of been in my corner. So it does add up and it tracks. What was your thoughts on seeing Leah Black back, and the product placements? And just Leah was really...
Maybe it wouldn't be a Housewife moment if there wasn't a product placement. Let me tell you.
She's so good for the show. Did you like them together? Did you like seeing them together?
I did. You know what? I liked Leah in general. And like I said, like I was telling you before we went live, I watched this episode with my mom at her house because we were doing laundry coming back from Sydney. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, that's Leah. Like, she adds an element of wisdom to the show. We don't always get that with Housewives. Sometimes we get drama. Sometimes we get unnecessary. Sometimes we get a lot of things, but we don't necessarily always get wisdom and level-headedness and mindfulness. And that's what Leah brings to the space. So when she actually turned to Lisa and she said, would you ever give him an opportunity to be in your life again? And Lisa hesitated. Leah called it out and said, no, I've been hurt too many times. He's done too many things, or something to that matter, too many things to hurt me, to allow me to be in that space again. I respect and I love myself more. And I really appreciate that about Leah, because it does give a sense of mindfulness, and it gives a sense of, I'm okay to be me. I'm okay by myself. I'm okay to grow. I'm okay. I really appreciate that about Leah. Oh, gosh, I was gonna say Lisa,
It
but
was,
I appreciate that about her.
it was the perfect amount of tough love. Like I said, the history that they have always works. And product placement was funny, but she gave her the tough love, and she really pushed on it, and she said, why would you even want to be with somebody like that? Even though Lisa's at that stage where she's still going through it. And then I asked myself this other question, because I did love the scene quite a bit. There is a part of me that's like, oh, I do think Leah would be great for the show in like a part-time role. I just don't think I think she's outgrown the show. I just don't think the show has changed so much. It's gotten a little too messy. I feel like there's no benefit for Leah to be on the show in any other capacity than this kind of capacity.
Yeah.
So I guess that will be the question of the day, to be thrown in the comments or whatever. Do you want to see Leah Black back on the show? My honest opinion is I really love going to those season 2 and season 3, rewatching season 2 specifically, but I don't know that I feel that I think she's outgrown it a little bit. Yeah.
The shows like franchises change consistently, and so I could see her being back in the future. I think you're not gonna like this.
Uh-oh, who we slandering?
We're not slandering anybody, but I just think they're gonna have to get rid of Larsa. I hear the pause. I hear it. Okay, so Larsa's gonna have to go. Adriana's gonna have to go. I love Gertie, but I need her to get more comfortable in front of the camera and not try so hard. Like, I'm happy to be here. I need that to stop in order for her to stay, or she's gonna have to go. And then we can keep Alexia. We can keep Leah, because I feel like Leah and Alexia are very much the equivalent of Margaret Josephs and Teresa Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So they complement each other in that aspect. We can keep Lisa because she's the young, fun one. Julia has to go as well. Julia has to go. Like, she's kind of played her element in this, and it's just time to move forward. And then we need 4 new castmates that can bring more to the show than what we're getting now. I think this was a great reboot, but unfortunately there's not these elements. We're missing elements. We're missing elements of luxury. Like, Gertie's role should really be us seeing her put on these extravagant events. I'm not watching to see the personality that I know she already has, because she has it, but they're trying to pull too much out from her. So I just need them to just focus on showing us the amazing things that she can do, because that's gonna be her. Just like let me think. Just like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when they had Lisa Vanderpump, we were really seeing her and Ken do their thing with their restaurants and run their businesses. So we want to see those elements, because we have to go back to the basics of what we knew from Housewives. And what we knew from Housewives was that there were normal people that happened to have the upper middle class income and we're living these luxury lives, but we're still very relatable. Now we're so beyond relatable that we're losing interest quickly. And that's why I feel like that's why these casts are turning over quickly.
It is true. But your Larsa comment, I mean, I always say, if Larsa's on the show, she's a star. If she's off the show, she's a star. Larsa just carries herself that way. Eat it up. That's what it is. So I'm not going to be mad if anyone has she shouldn't continue on. She don't have to continue on.
Exactly. She's fly. She doesn't need it.
She's fly regardless. But I will tell you, this is a great promotional moment. In our episodes here, go to youtube.com/randomlyRJ Jr. and also go to Russell's youtube.com
/ Russell X Raymond.
Yes. Well, they all link together, so that's the good thing. Yeah. But you should go to our old episodes, because we actually do an episode where we're talking about who deserves a mojito. So basically, of the part-timers, who would we want to see as a full-timer? And then we also have an episode of the people outside of Leah who did make a quick cameo of the Karen and Anna, Christy, and Joanna. Which of the cast members who did the earlier seasons, which would you want to see of them on, the current Real Housewives of Miami. And again, the question to what Russell was saying is there other people that are moving and shaking in Miami? And the answer is yes. And the answer is yes. We want to see not just like your personality once you guys all come into a room together, but you need to see Gertie going to events. We need to be seeing her balancing, missing her sons. Yeah. But that's not her fault. That's a Bravo thing, I believe. Exactly. So it is what it is. Before I go to the next point, I want to say we are, of course, also streaming live on Twitch. So we've stepped up our game a little bit. And to the people who love us as much as you love us on YouTube and love us on Twitch, I say thank you very much. Okay, moving on. So we're getting ready.
Also,
tell me.
Housewife news.
We don't even have our Housewives news and music, but go ahead.
We don't, but this is just a major moment. Okay, Taylor, speaking, because you were talking about who deserves to be full-time and who deserves to go from a friend to full-time. Housewife news, Taylor Armstrong has become a full-on housewife for the Real Housewives of Orange County. She was the first housewife to transition franchises from going from Beverly Hills to Orange County. Now she's taken the place of one of the main housewives as a main housewife, and now that housewife has been downgraded to a friend. That is wild. The trailer is being edited, and the whole season is being edited at this point. I don't know what happened looking into it, but mind was blown when this happened, because in Housewives history, this has never happened. Like mid-season, no one has been downgraded or upgraded and has gone back, and the network has not gone back to re-edit the season. So I'm really curious to know what happened.
Well, who's getting cut? Is it Gina?
Give me 5 seconds. Hold on, let me. I'm still I'm still learning like rapidly. Like I'm getting messages about this.
I don't need the answer for sure. I'm just I wasn't a big Taylor fan, but I guess we'll see how it plays out. That Orange County season franchise, they have a lot to go through. So I guess they're just trying different things, you know. It's not one that I really watch too much, so I don't have a big opinion. While you're looking that up, let's get back to our Miami girls. Alexia and Marisol, they're preparing for this dinner. It's a birthday dinner for Julia and also Kiki. I believe one of the gals that said, you know what they need? And this is a great advice. They need a good fuck. Oh, do you remember?
Yes.
And you know, while people could be like, it's a little brash to say, you know, sometimes you just gotta like, you know, loosen it up. Yeah, loosen the thing up a little bit. Nicole,
I hate the way you just said that.
I know, so good, right? Who am I? What's going on in the old mind over here?
Is it getting hot in here, or is it just me?
It's getting hot in here. Nicole wants to sort of split the tables, which I think is good. She wants to play peacemaker because that does kind of go into the narrative of her being this really wonderful housewife. So kudos, yay! But I'm kind of like, splitting the tables feels good enough. I'll tell you what sort of wore me out a little bit after. But let's get to the initial stuff. Adriana's in pain with her foot. It's an emotional thing. It's you know, brokenness, mentally broken, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of like the dynamic we're going into the dinner with.
Yeah.
But then she does make, and this is kind of like what I was saying earlier. You can make the good points, but your behavior can't overshadow those good points. So let's acknowledge the good points, because Adriana, there's a part of us, or me, I can't speak for you. We really do love Adriana.
Yeah.
She is the oldest housewife, we believe, in this franchise. She started the show. There's credit in that. You know, I even talk about all the time, like, I don't have to like Vicky from OC, but like, she was on the boat before anyone else. Like she ran this shit, you know.
Vicky, baby. I don't know what I like Vicky.
I know, but it's an example, Russell. An example, okay. Please. Thank you.
I'm staying with you.
I knew it was a stretch. We got to stay on Miami. We keep going to all these other episodes or franchises.
They're all intertwined because they all go on Watch What Happens Live, and we are just as good as Watch What Happens Live.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so here's what Adriana said, and the issues do hurt to hear. As a person with empathy, that we all sort of have that. She explains that she came to this country. She has no family that's local, and that this to me was the biggest thing, is that the alimony's running out, and she has tons of tears behind that. How did you receive all that? I mean, that's very forthcoming. I always say, in terms of how I share and communicate with people, when I'm really going through it, I get very like weary of what I want to share, unless it's like, personal with friends.
Yeah.
I'm always okay to say, this is what I was dealing with. But I give Adriana a lot of credit. She's saying right here, right now, the alimony is almost up. I got to still take care of my kid. I really connected to the vulnerability of that, despite bad behavior.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, you personally know how I feel about alimony. You already know how I feel about that. I believe if you build something together, it should be split equally. I don't believe if you built something solo and you marry someone that they shouldn't be entitled to anything. I don't, because you work hard to get to where you're at. Again, she came to this country. She has no family that's local. A lot of people do it. A lot of people do it. You have a platform to build anything. Adriana has the body. And even at that, we're in a time and place now where you don't even need the body to sell bathing suits, to sell lingerie. We've seen it with Rihanna, with Savage Fenty. She is all inclusive. She has people who are missing legs. She has plus size models. She has people who are missing limbs. Like, there's no excuse. You are on the Real Housewives of Miami, a reboot, coming back better than ever, more drama than ever. You have more showtime than ever because it is streaming now. When you first came out, it was just on Bravo and apps were a new thing. Now you have apps. You have Heya that's in Australia, which I learned they don't have Peacock down there, but they have Heya. So you have that. You're literally worldwide revolutionary. You can come up with a business plan that can be very terrible and it can still do well. Lisa Rinna just said on the interview with Hoda that Housewives is a moving force that will revamp your career and get you somewhere that you need to be. And then you leave when it's right to do so. You don't need to stay on because it is very hard to do. And the show is very hard to take on because there's so much that goes into it. But Adriana does not need alimony when she has the opportunity here to create something and blow it up. Just because she's a housewife, people will literally come to a coffee shop that she can open up in Miami and they will want to come get coffee, and she can have names of all the girls, give them a percentage depending on how many drinks she sells, whatever. She has the opportunity to make money. She is not you and I who have to build from scratch and have to make our names known. She already has a platform to move up and move forward. So, I mean, I appreciate her vulnerability. Yes, I appreciate her truthfulness. But at the end of the day, does she need it? No. Can she survive? Yes. Do people come to this country with no money and make beautiful lives for themselves? Absolutely. So I don't find that as an excuse. I don't like excuses.
Well, first, I love the what is it? The no holds barred, clapback opinion. But also what you're saying too, and we'll get to the marriage part in a second. Oh, actually, I'll just jump right to it. If you want more opinions, because I don't want to go over and over on things that are redundant to what we've already talked about, go to this episode again right there on youtube.com/randomlyRJ. It's located at randomlyrjr.com if you want to go. It's an easier way to type it in and be linked out. But this was us talking about Lisa Hodgkine's complicated divorce, and we went through a lot of different places. So from what you heard Russell say right now, that was a bit of like the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we have already explained in detail. So I would definitely want you to go check that out because that was a very good episode. The part that I am in a huge agreement of too is, and I would say that I see it in the podcast space. So many people get in the podcast space, which is mine, by the way. I own this shit.
Yes.
Come on. But people get in it as a celebrity. They get to cut the line.
Yep.
I don't co-signing to what you're saying, Adriana, or for any of the cast members, it's tough to get lost in it. And you did put out a music video, Fire, we'll talk about that. But you're utilizing this platform is what you got to do. Like I'll say it like this, Adriana, you are a beautiful woman who has a platform on a franchise that could have came back for one season only and flopped. It became the biggest franchise across, all the Bravo and all the, Peacock streaming platforms. it was huge. You got to work with that. So I just feel like Russell was giving a little bit of tough love there, but the truth is the truth is the truth. And I say it like this. My podcast is as fly as it is without resources. Don't let me get on a show. By the way, I have to tell the audience here, I did audition for Big Brother. So if I win $750,000, you just got to let me rock. You just got to let me be. And I'm such a winner, so it may happen. But even if it doesn't happen, the moral and the lecture at hand is you can't let a platform come and go and do nothing with it. So I'm just saying, you said a lot there, Russell, and I'm just giving more context to it's a platform. Adriana, I don't know. It's vulnerable, and I liked it. Got to see you a little bit more. Now let's let's get on that broken foot and start dancing.
Yes, baby.
after you start dancing, let's start making money. Let's start going for hours. Yeah.
And not only that, you're in the middle of the Hispanic explosion. It happened in the 90s, early 2000s. It's happening again now. It happened back when Jennifer Lopez and Ricky Martin, Mark Anthony, Celia Cruz, like it was a big moment and everybody was booming back then. And now you're in this space where you have Bad Bunny, Karol G, you have Rosalia, you have Wednesday that came out. That was a Hispanic cast. Like you have all these, you have Gentified that came out. Like there's this explosion. And now you have the Real Housewives of Miami, which is a Hispanic based Real Housewives franchise. Like it is your moment. If there's any place to excel and time to excel, it's now. So if you don't jump on this train, it's going to leave you at the station and then you'll be left behind and then you'll have no alimony and no royalty check, baby. And that's not what you want.
I wonder if Adriana, and no more on this because we got to move forward. Adriana, you gotta deal with it yourself. We're just giving advice. I wonder if Adriana puts in perspective. It would have, for everything that she sad about, it would have been way worse if you didn't get the show again.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got the show again, so it could have everything you're saying. With that, imagine doing it without the platform. Just keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay, but anyways. Well, and we're gonna get to that. My leg is broken, or my foot is broken, and then she starts doing a cartwheel. We'll get to that in a moment. What did you think about? There was decorations on both sides. The Julia. No, whose birthday was it? Julia's birthday.
Julia's, and it was Gertie's.
And it was Kiki's birthday.
Was Adriana, it Kiki's birthday?
I believe so. Adriana did the whole I feel so sorry because if it wasn't for me, I should just leave. It's like this violin is getting a little bit much for us all. There's two tables. There's the A team I call, and then the other girls. The A team really was Larsa, Marisol, and Alexia. Was it just them three? Yeah. Because the other table seemed really unentertaining, I gotta say. The credit that I will give is Nicole was trying her best to drink with both groups, but it almost made it more awkward. You don't need to. You doing all that is just let these girls want to be with them, and these girls want to be with them. Yeah. And Gertie right there. I mean, unfortunately, Gertie. This is gonna be the first little jab at Gertie. Nicole does what Nicole does, which is great because she was the host. But I really want to see Gertie make it have an opinion. just one opinion. It would be just something that she just does, Yeah. So, but
again, going back to Gertie, she's very. I don't know if they're just trying to pull too hard from her. It's very and no one said it better than Jonathan Chaban the food god now to Kim Kardashian is you need to stop acting like you're grateful to be here. You already have it. So act like it.
Wait, break that down.
So basically, Kim Kardashian used to talk to the paparazzi like, hi guys, how are you? How's your day going? Real celebrities don't talk to the paparazzi. They don't. Mm-hmm. They know their angles. They know how to get their photos. Lisa Hochstein is teetering on that line of where she's giving them what they want, but she's also getting what she needs. Mm-hmm. She's not really engaging that much, but she does need to kind of cut it out a little bit. But Gertie is giving me oh my gosh, I'm just so happy to be on camera. Hi, everybody. I don't know if anybody's going to call me, but I'm going to call them. Yeah. I don't know if the ducks are going to quack, but they're going to quack today. Things like that. It's
Well,
It's like
here,
you're trying very hard, and I do appreciate it in all aspects because we've all been there. I I did that on my first podcast. Somebody called me out immediately. They said you're reaching. I was like, got it.
mm,
So just give me you. Don't give me the television version of what you expect me, what you expect me to think you are. Just give me you. You're enough. She is enough as she is. She is she is an event planner, an extravagant event planner at that. She
mhm,
has a successful marriage. She's a good mother. She has two beautiful children. Like, give me that. I don't
mhm.
need this extra excitement for things that nobody cares to be excited about. It's unnecessary. You know, we don't like you're and I like I say, I appreciate it. I think she's lovely. She is, but just we're pulling so hard. Like she's a fashionista. Like fuck
Oh,
my life.
these confessionals are it. Yeah, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
come on. Like you are already giving us enough. You don't have to pull from the side of let me try hard to be likable because you already are likable. If anybody needs to try harder, it's Julia. Julia needs to be giving us this. The decks are gonna quack today because Julia's not giving us anything. She's giving us we're gonna adopt a baby, but we haven't signed any papers and there is no child, but we're gonna adopt it. Like, don't give it like what? You're giving us moments that aren't even existing.
Or don't have follow through. Yeah, with
You know what I
Gert
mean?
with Gertie, a couple things. Yes, you want to act like you've been there before. That's sort of something people have been saying forever. Like, hey, let's be cool here. Act
Yeah.
like you've been there before, and it goes a lot longer way. Now, in regular life, if you have to talk about how you're feeling, you take that to the family, you take that to your friends, but you don't. And I hate this. I hate this part of show business, let's say. And you call this not show business, but a reality show is still show business if every season their jobs are on the line, which I don't like that, by the way. Even though I don't want anyone to coast and get like a contract for 3 seasons, I don't like this new era. I like to call it the Tamron Judge of it all, where it's like Tamron got so desperate they put her back on the show. No diss to Tamron. What's her name? Tamara?
Cameron
No,
Judd.
no diss to Tamara, but like once that happened, we got more of this. Like Andy Cohen always lets somebody go, or they let him go, and it's like, oh, they may be back, and he's very nonchalant with it. And it's like, Andy, you don't even let another host on the network, so
Yeah.
don't talk about being so nonchalant about holding on to something.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the women have had to kind of. I understand it's effective to make them be the most on camera, but you're kind of like ruining the secret sauce because everyone's like really going to a place because they're like, oh, my job's on the line. And I guess in theory, your job is always on the line, but I just don't like that. Anyways, let's get to Gertie.
Okay.
Gertie, the word around town is you made everything you just said. Oh, if I get next season, I'm going to come for this one and this one. That had all been said last season going into this season. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. It's gone around. We've heard you because we know everybody. It's just the truth. She's already stated this. If she watches this, she's going to be like, oh, damn, I did talk loud about that. I did say going into season 2, I'm going to not just keep my storyline of the event planner, cute one-liners, like I'm coming for people. Well, you didn't do it, and you said you were going to do it last time. So now your word is not necessarily as big. Secondly, we need you to do something. We don't need Nicole to do something and you right there with her. And the third thing, you're calling Larsa the fakest. Come up with an original thought. That's working good for Nicole because Nicole doesn't like Larsa and they got their secret special issue. Special? Is that the word? So I can't get they have their own issue. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, is it too much of a tangent? Can I get this off real quick?
Get it out. Get it
Okay,
out.
here we go. So I hate this, Gertie. Gertie, this is going to make sense. You're going to love me after this. Unfortunately, you can't have that eagerness when you're in show business.
No.
I hate that. Russell will tell you. I will tell you.
Yeah.
I always make mention the time I went to Fuse TV after I did the show that I was on. They called me in for a meeting, and I came in there like this. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy, and I would love an opportunity. You can't talk that way. I hate it, but the way you book in the industry, in my opinion, just my opinion, you have to go in there and say, I got this coming up. I got that coming up. Let's make some money. You've got to give them the undeniable. You can't tell them what you're going to do. You have to sort of showcase where your direction and your angle is. And I saw it, sadly, even I was watching Drag Race recently, and one of the cast members went into the crying, and it means the most to me, and I didn't win a design challenge, and I got to do this. I'm sorry. What's the name? Selena is the name of that cast member. That's for the home. That's for your friends. That's for your everyone that you came up with. Bringing that to the show, you're basically saying, RuPaul, you got to keep me on the show, not based on my talent, but because I want it. Guess what? Everyone wants it. So that's a little bit different in the Gertie situation, but it is kind of the same thing. It's like you have no time to talk nice to make people want you to win. You just got to show us that you have some value. And Gertie, you have it. So let's see more of it. You have
it.
She has it.
She has it.
Unfortunately, she's almost going the wrong way. She's almost like bare, like saying, what can I do to make it a little less optimal for my success? It's like
she's burying the lead.
Yeah.
And
sadly, we say that with love.
Absolutely, with absolute 100% love, because we adore her, and
love
she
Gertie.
gives us everything that we need.
Yeah,
what she's doing. Again, when I went to journalism school, they say don't bury the lead. Gertie is burying the lead, meaning she's burying the most important element of who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's likable. She's fashion forward. She's a businesswoman. She's a mom. Boom. That is the housewife sauce right there. I don't need you to be a comedian, because baby, that's not you. If I wanted a comedian, I would go watch Comedy Central, but I'm watching Peacock, or I'd watch a special about comedy on Peacock. That's not what I'm watching. I'm watching the Housewives. I want to see your fabulousness. I want to see the diamonds. I want to see the luxurious gowns. I want to see you walking into the events, calling the shots. Like, all right, we're going live in 3, 2, down the aisle. Here we go. Boom. I want to see you host a fashion show for charity. Boom. I want to see, like, you have it.
Yeah.
Don't bury the lead. That's all I'm saying.
Now she's turning into the I'm not the one, in her mind at least, because again, this was said going into season 2. Like, again, we know everyone. So in press interviews, that was what had been said. So I remember thinking, oh, watching this season, on good measure, we're going to see her get into it. And it never really happened. I mean, she had a little thing with Alexia, but it didn't even really feel like her. Again, it's a case of the trying too hard. Please, for her sake. But anyways, we watch show. We're going to watch whoever's casted. Like, if they let her go, they let her go. It's not my problem.
We'll still give you the follow, girl, because we still do like you. We'll give you the follow, but I don't know.
Do you think Gertie would take this as negative criticism?
I don't think so, because she's a powerhouse, and the most successful people can take in criticism and find the message within it and not take offense to it.
Here's the thing too. Another thing is, sometimes I think Twitter kind of caused this problem. I really should be, if any of you cast members want to hire me for the media training, I got you. But what they end up doing is kind of like, it's effective short term, but not long term. And it's very much outside of your character. So when the question had been presented to her, in a reality summit, let's call it, I don't care what it was called, one of the reporters said, who's the fakest of the show? She knew in her head, she went so quickly to, like, let me just say Larsa, because if I attach my name to Larsa, it's going to get the biggest headlines. But if that's not really how you kind of feel, and even if it is how you feel, you're not giving a story. I need something. And that's what I would encourage her. I'm like, if you're going to say Larsa, give me the reason why. People nowadays, they want it done for them. Let me attach my name to Larsa's. All of a sudden I'll go viral and I'm like part of this shady moment. But there's a reason, Gertie, no one's attaching, because it doesn't feel real. Yeah. It doesn't feel real. For the sake of it, say that Larsa's the fakest one, which I don't agree with one bit. But give us a reason why. Why was Wendy Williams so good at her show? Is because she was always saying, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you why. In that interview, from what we saw, I'll give credibility that maybe there was more, but I always watch full clips. I don't ever watch just little bites. I'm a long form content type of person. I always do my research. She just wanted to giggle and say, Larsa's the fakest. Larsa's the fakest. Gertie, you gave us 3 words and you expect me to think you're going to be more polarizing in the next season. You're not even doing it now, sweetie pie.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Come on.
not sweetie pie.
But I do love her fashion. Yeah.
And I mean, look, like
Come
she's
on,
literally a movie star. Literally a
baby.
movie star.
I mean,
Come on, Gertie. Baby.
We are Team Gertie, even though you might
We
not
are
think
Team Gertie,
it.
but we're
Team
team get it
Gertie.
right or don't get it at all.
Okay, get it right. Did Adriana's music video get it right? The music video.
Ooh, ask me that question again.
Did we feel that Adriana, with her fire, Miami's hot, 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 was it the perfect music video release? Did we like it? You got to have some redeeming qualities, don't you think?
I'm just going to give you one word like Gertie. No, okay, here's the thing. I don't even know where to start with this. The song is okay. The song is okay. It doesn't flow very well. And like being around music my whole life, the song doesn't flow very well. It's very harsh and choppy. You want things to flow like Busta Rhymes, you know, every time I gotta go, then I gotta get it, then I gotta have it, then I gotta, you know, it flows and it goes with the beat. Miami's on fire. It's a very hard, it's a very hard transition into the song and into the chorus line and into the hook. You know, it's okay, but I wouldn't say it's 10-year worthy of being in music. I would have given myself a little bit more time. The rapper she chose was great. I think we gave him a little too much face time, and it was awkward that he was rapping in a studio and not on set with her. So that was kind of weird. The party itself, I think if you're proud of what you're doing, you don't need anybody else around you. I think it's great to have support. I don't think you need it. Just saying. Bask in your own successes. Some people will tell you to be humble. By being humble, it means don't step on people who don't have. But it's okay to reward yourself, and it's okay to congratulate yourself, and to celebrate yourself and your achievements. So
maybe.
The
Sorry. Go ahead.
where she had the restaurant release, great, but you didn't need anybody else there besides yourself and some friends and extended friends or whatever. Again, it's a business. You're there to make money. You're there to sell your music. So you need to be inviting every influential person that is going to put your song out there. And that is what I'm expecting. It's not what I got.
Before I get into this, I just laughingly, we did say, what a scene. This was back in the Bahamas with Adriana not being hurt and dancing the night away. That was funny. That really was funny. How she complained and complained and complained, and suddenly she was in a wedge and she was like living her life. So
yes,
Adriana, lots of emotion there. But to the question about the music video, the release, yeah, you really are spending a lot of time worrying about validation from this other group of girls that doesn't really like you. I just don't really feel like that's the way to make them like you. And why are we seeking validation for anyone else? But beyond that, the point that Russell made was, this is your event. I'd be damned if I'm having an event and I'm going to let them shower their negative energy. I'm almost happy they didn't show up. I did my job. I invited them, so the door was open for them to come. Yep. But now I need to be talking to every single person, lighting up the room. I mean, that's like the host duty. But yet again, it's, you know, the same group. Nicole's there for her. Gertie's there for her. Julia's there for her. And Lisa sort of was on both sides of things. But, you know, this group really does this thing where it's like, well, I was there for you. And they, which is fine. That is a choice. But then what they do is like, oh, well, they weren't there for you. And it's like, I don't know. If they're not friends, like, what am I going to go out of my way? It's like when Larsa said, I'm not going. She did go on the boat, so she probably should have been in the video if she went to the boat. But why am I going to be in the video? I don't even like the girl.
Look, again, you're there to sell the product. The product is you as a singer, as an artist, as a musician. None of these women are going to do anything for you on this Housewives franchise. Not a single one. Mm-hmm. They're not. So Miami's on fight. Like, look, She could have literally, like, you have everything that you need. Reach out to Candy Barres. She's a songwriter.
Yeah, we mentioned a lot of that on the one episode. Yeah,
Songwriter.
use your
Reach out to
resources.
Candy.
Yeah,
Reach out, like, everybody had, like, trust me, like, I don't even know what to say at this point, because I'm like, I'm upset.
Well, I think it's because you want more for people. You don't want to see them sabotage.
I do, and I see the best. I see the best in everyone, and I'm very guilty of always trying to help elevate other people. Again, I'm guilty of trying to help elevate other people when other people don't really elevate me. But I have these handful of people, including yourself, who are like, let's get you out, let's get you on, and then you and I do this thing where we build each other up because it's just working, and that's great, and it's refreshing. And I think I've said this many times. For those of y'all who don't know Ronnie, you should know Ronnie. For those of you who don't follow Ronnie, you need to hit like, subscribe, comment, follow, repost. You need to be hitting all of those elements, because Ronnie is it. Okay, he's interviewed Beyonce, Christina Milian, Sierra. I can't even name all the celebrities that you've interviewed, because like you've just done it. Okay,
that's another, and it's a very kind comment, but it's also another word for he's old. He's been doing this he's got all these experiences, well, in a very long career, and that's why we come at it the way we come at it, because we're just passionate about what we say. Yeah. I will say till the end of time, I don't want anything bad to happen to Adriana. In fact, you'll hear me talk about certain people, but it's just like all in constructive critique. Just like anyone could say, I don't like the way you appear on camera. I don't like your podcast setup. I don't like your, whatever you want to come up with. It's like, that's great constructive criticism. I'll work on that. The real test and the real definition of somebody wanting to become the best at what they're doing is taking it. I mean, obviously you don't want to take critique for people who don't know what they're talking about, but I had a friend just recently, friend I've known for about 20 years, now getting back in the podcast space, because unfortunately he was early to the party. He was doing it. I don't want to give all his business. He was doing it when you couldn't get people to come off their regular, day-to-day life and go listen to some audio or video on a YouTube. Like, he was so early, spent a lot of money, wasted a lot of money. Now he's getting back in the space, and he was so excited, and I'm excited to see that for him. I'm ready for him to win. He had to get through that negative emotion of like, I should be making all the money that people are making now. Yep. But within that, we're going back and forth, bantering, critiquing, and he threw some stuff at me, and I do a great job. So I'm not really used to getting the critique, but the critique he gave was from an honest place, and it was warm, and it made sense. I said, you know what? I could step that up. I got you. You know what? That's not going to be a problem too much longer.
But also, you surround yourself with people who are adding to your life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's one thing that this franchise hasn't done, like Miami specifically, is they're not surrounding each other. They're not surrounding themselves with people who elevate them, put them on, or add to their lives. They're surrounding themselves with people who extract energy and doubt them and cast bad omens. And in the Hispanic culture, we call that ojo, which is like you give the evil eye. And I think they mentioned it, Alexia's mentioned it on the season. You give ojo, and it gives bad vibes and bad energy. Like, we need to see everybody step up their game. We really do, because every other Housewives franchise really surrounds themselves with people that elevate them and lift them up and encourage them to do better. And I will say, over the period of several episodes, like we've seen over 10 episodes now, and we haven't seen any support system in place. Really, we haven't. Well, but everyone shows up for each other, but there's no support system.
Well, here, I have a note about the Caviar King, so we're going to get to that in a second.
Ooh, he's sexy. Baby.
It was in my notes.
I will take a little caviar.
Yeah. We have to make mention. When we were first doing this show, we were going to do a hottie of the week. We just never got around to it. But anyway,
they don't need more than you and I.
Yeah, for sure. So here's what I was going to say. Oh my God, what was I going to say?
Oh, Sirius XM is calling me. Hold on.
I had such a good point, and then we talked about the Caviar King, and I just lost.
We're talking about support systems, support models.
Oh, here's what I was going to say. there is a reason, a very real reason why when this show was in about episode 3 when they went to Key West and all of the girls riled behind Lisa in because, you know, it could have been personal. They all checked in with their husbands. They don't want something like this to happen to them. You know, Lenny basically pulling the rug from under. That was a scene we have not seen on a lot of Housewives. This is going to circle around to what Russell said. The camaraderie, the being there for each other. Housewives, for some reason, wants to concentrate so much on what they give to Twitter and how it could be like a tweetable, memeable moment that they forget that you can't go without your peaks and valleys without kind of going from those different experiences, the highs and lows. And to what you said, we're not seeing enough being there for you kind of moments. And so if you're going to give me a, well, Adriana, you're lame because of this, or Alexia, you're lame because of this, and they go back at each other, we need to know a reason why. And I guess we get it because we know that Adriana feels a little slighted. They all kind of had that 8 years of not doing the show. She thought when they got back up and running, they would do it together, and she didn't kind of realize she'd be left out with Marisol. She didn't realize she'd be left out as a part-timer. All those things could be real and true, but we need to kind of feel that. So I'm just kind of co-signing to what you said. And still thinking of the Caviar King. So,
but also, again, the reason I speak the way that I do is because I try to surround myself with people that elevate me. So, Ronnie, you elevate me. I have another friend, Marsha. She's always, we're bouncing ideas off of each other. We came up with this whole marketing plan for an airline one time within 20 minutes.
Wow.
Ate it up. Absolutely ate it up. But again, you don't give me ojo. I don't give you ojo. Marsha doesn't give me ojo. I don't give her ojo. So there's no bad omens there. Like, I can call you at any time of day and like, you know, my schedule is like wild.
Yeah.
And like, you'll respond to me at some point in the day. And like, I appreciate it like all the time because sometimes I'm lost in the space because again, you have the experience and the knowledge and you're willing to share that. So I just hate that I don't see that with this because the Hispanic community,
I think we're going to see it
know
though.
This are known for the continuous support of each other. And so I'm not getting that element from this series yet. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because as big as this franchise is, I have this love-hate relationship with it right now. And that's not how it started. I started off with so much love for this franchise. And now I'm at this point of like, I'm teetering back and forth of like really frustrated with the cast and like, also really excited because if anybody knows me, they know that I like to progress anything that's Hispanic and Latino. And so it's like, make us look good.
Yeah.
Put us on.
I'd almost rather
be pop, pop, pop. Okay. Like make that the song.
I'd rather see, Nicole say, "Oh, I know somebody who knows somebody. Let's get this at the, at a radio station." Whatever. That's all just like ideas. But I would even rather see. Okay, we got introduced the earlier part of the season about Nicole and like the mom having issues with her and like what that is and what that is in terms of her dad. It's like revisit that stuff. Like let's tighten that up. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
But I still like the show. These are just a couple things that could help. We do have to wrap up because we've got a busy day here. Adriana says her apology in the words of "my bad." So, you get what you give. I'm not going to critique her for it, but when you nonchalantly say, "Oh, my bad," you either are apologetic or you aren't. My bad is kind of floating in the middle. So that was a little bit of concern. I don't know if this was of concern, but they did calculate it. So I don't know what you think. Let me get your opinion. They were saying Adriana was actually more in the wrong because the app that she connected with the guy was from Bumble. And on Bumble, you initially send the message, which is all true. But I don't think that that's maybe how she got connected with him. Like, did she say that they were all in London together or something like that?
I don't think that's how they got connected either. I also think sometimes when you're on these apps, you're like, swipe left, swipe right, swipe boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You're just looking at the attraction. You're not registering who the person is. And like, I mean, for example, Shane and I ran into someone in customs and Shane was like looked at him like, "Oh, that guy's really handsome," because he has a nice stature, nice face, whatever. And then like it took like a whole 24 hours till we ran into the guy at the beach later where he's like, oh my God, I know where I know this person from. Like, he knows one of my best friends and they're really close as best friends. That would be like you seeing Humberto and not processing it, but then processing that that's Humberto, which is one of my best friends.
Right.
So she could have just been swiping, like, oh, he's cute, he's not cute, because it's frustrating. You're single, you're in your 50s, you want to move on with your life, you want your happily ever after. You're trying to speed up the process because time is limited, right? So that could have happened. Then he could have messaged her. And also, some people don't use their real names on these apps. They use a screen name. Single 50-year-old or single 50-year-old looking for happiness could be your screen name. I don't necessarily register who you are, especially if I haven't been connected with you for 7-8 years, whatever. And do I think it was in bad taste that Adriana told Marisol that he was never in love with her after Marisol said that was the love of her life? That was in terrible taste. I don't think it's ever a good idea to open up a closed wound, because what do you expect to come from it? And again,
or if you are opening that wound, you Lisa Rinna, you have to own it. You have to don't pussyfoot around the situation and with the my bads or the not my intention. You were trying to cut deep. There are times you're trying to cut deep. We just have to own it. That's all that is.
Or let there be a reason. If Marisol was still talking, and she's married now, and she's still talking about this relationship, like, he hurt me and I was so in love with him, and like, take it aside and be like, you know what? I've heard you mention this relationship multiple times, but what you should know is that he reached out to me. We had a conversation about you, and he stated to me that he was never in love with you. So I really think by you embracing the marriage that you're in now is going to help you grow more and let that go, because clearly that wasn't meant. It didn't mean to him what it meant to you. And I feel sorry that you're basking in something that this was, in your mind, what you thought was happiness, but this wasn't happiness. You're so much happier now with your husband. And I think you should lean into this blissfulness, not saying that you're not entirely, but let go of that other man, because clearly he didn't care about you. And I love you more than to watch you care about someone who could care less about you. That's when you bring up something like that, not just randomly out of the blue out of left field. It makes no sense. Like, stop.
Yeah, it was feeling very resentful and intended to hurt, and it was also very shocking. It was so shocking. It had you like,
I hate the fact that my picture is in that. So you're taking a new one. Because I like this shirt better.
Okay. We'll be sure to edit that in. Okay, so wrapping up, because again, busy recording day here. And as I said, please do us a favor, hit all our websites and Patreons and everything to support other. There's so much content out there. I have been putting out. You do a lot of like the TikTok stuff, and do really well there. I have been leaning really heavily into the YouTube Shorts, which isn't my favorite thing, but I've been putting a lot of time into it. So please check out the YouTube Shorts. Now, here's where you can find everything. RussellRaySilva.com will link you out to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@RussellXRaymond. If you want to go to my YouTube, go to RandomlyRJr.com, and that will link that out. And of course, if you want to make it rain and support because you love this show so much, Patreon.com/RandomlyRJr. It's about as fun as lipstick on your teeth, I must say. So that's what I think. Okay, wrapping up. Your thoughts. Marina starting to turn and blame Lisa. How did that land, in your opinion?
It sucks because you're in a rock and a hard place as a parent, but there's always a difference of opinion from the outside, and you have to know that place as an in-law. You have to know that you don't know the entire story. So the fact that you're going to start blaming her for having these women over at the house, also, I think it's very traditional. Marina has a very traditional mindset of you listen to your man when you go home, and sorry, baby, but we're just not in that time anymore. So if that's what your son wants, clearly he has what he needs, because having a younger girl who's going to be more submissive to him, great, good riddance. Lisa, did not need to go home when her husband wanted her to go home. Lisa can be out and enjoy her life, but there is going to be a risk by continuously doing these things because it causes detachment. But your son is in the wrong, so acknowledge that. You know what? My son was in the wrong. However, I could see why he became detached, because he wanted to have this simple lifestyle where you guys were at home enjoying life at home instead of being out, and he didn't want to be out very often. So he explained to me that caused the detachment. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense is you're going to start blaming your daughter-in-law for your son cheating on her because her party lifestyle. But as we've seen from example, big extravagant parties, older gentlemen. Do you think Lisa's inviting these old gentlemen to the house? No. They're all plastic surgeons, doctors, and those type of men because they think because they got money that they're cute. You're not. So I think it was cringeworthy. I don't ever want anybody to go through that. And if you're Katharina dating Lord Voldemort right now, you should pay attention to how this woman is treating her now daughter-in-law, because you are going to be treated exactly the same. Do not get it twisted.
Well, I think the new girl knows what she's getting into, and she's utilizing it for what it is now. Um, the harsh part of that, and with anyone who goes in that situation where Lisa's trying to calculate it, like what role did I play in it, or even Marina saying, "Well, you played this role. This is why." The part that everyone needs to stop is sort of blindly defending Lenny's actions.
Yeah.
This was his action. There's not a lot you can really do. Remember how I said earlier in the episode how Lisa's like, "Oh, I want to go back," and I could have done. You couldn't have done anything. You couldn't have done it. Like, he had made his decision. You were old news. He wanted a new model, like a car,
Yep.
and that was what it was going to be. The part that is the most complex, and I think if we did revisit this next season, is we have always known that Lisa, we don't really know much about her biological family, let's say. Like, we
Yeah.
just, her family was always this. So I could see the complexity of even Marina being like, I want to be there for my, daughter-in-law, but really I'm still, I guess what I'm saying is Marina's still in the system, so to speak. She's still in the flow. She's still in the, like, you stand by your man no matter what. Like, and I hate that. And I'm just trying my best to kind of understand it, because again, you and I, we're not, women married to men, so we don't really understand all of the dynamics that go with it. But I think Marina was trying her best, but at some point it kind of changes. And her, even though it's wrong what Lenny did, her alliance is going to be with the family. So
Yeah.
I think Lisa kind of had to know that too. She got real excited that Marina was on her side, but there should have been something in the back of her head that said, I don't know how long this will last.
Yeah.
As a woman, she gets me, but as the structure, this like, we're in the system of, honor the man no matter what.
Yep.
Marina might be like, girl, let me tell you what my man did.
Look, and that comes from a day and age, and it comes from a day and age of you kind of look past what your spouse did, because you don't break up a marriage. That's that generation.
Yeah.
This generation is like, baby, you signed the prenup, you are out. Okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, now we're in today's day and time, we're learning now that not everyone is meant to be in your chapter for the rest of your life. You might have a great 15-year marriage with someone, but that was that 15 years. And now that you're transitioning to this next phase of life, maybe you're going to have another 15-year marriage, and then maybe another 15-year marriage after that, because you change as a person. This is why we see relationships fall apart that you met in college, because in college you're relatable, right? You're both students, you're both struggling, trying to make money, trying to find your careers, trying to find yourself as an individual, really leaning on each other for support. And then now you're in this career. One of them could be a very famous television host, like myself, or you could be a doctor. A doctor and television host are not going to have a lot that's going on in common, because one can be an OBGYN that's continuously delivering children around the clock, and the other one can continuously be flying around the world to get videos and good content, like myself. And it's just not going to work, because you're not in the same place at the same time. So your marriage falls apart. Doesn't mean that you're bad people. It doesn't mean that you hate each other. And I think, Lisa, this is a great time to be single, Lisa. It is. Marina, good luck. Good luck with your man.
Not the hand wave of dismissal.
Keep it moving, honey. Keep it pushing. Keep it moving.
If you
because your 15 minutes of fame are done, baby. They're done. Bye.
Oh goodness.
Go with your man and go with your
harsh.
son.
And this is what you call duality, because when we recap the Real Housewives of Miami, we got to go in. We got to. We give strong opinions. Everyone loves us, so it's no issue. But he also, right. He just said a second ago, Russell says, oh, but I'm, a world-renowned TV host. Well, he's got the receipts. He's got the receipts. If you're on Peacock streaming platform, we say it all the time, but if you've not heard it yet, go to, you're already on Peacock streaming. You're looking for all the content. Well, this is a very wholesome show called Create the Escape. This came out right as Peacock streaming began. So there is still a handful of people who haven't gotten into it yet, but it was still such a great show. It's very much in the vein of an escape room. You've got the parents with their kids and some designers. Russell's one of the designers and hosts, and it's really casted well too. So, we are talking a little trash, as we do, but we have the receipts to back it up. So if you want to support, as you're watching our show and you want to support more with Russell Ray, check him out on that show on the Peacock streaming platform. So, had to throw the receipts there.
Thank you.
Let it be known.
Marina who?
Oh geez, duality. He's shady and he's also professional all at the same time.
Renowned traveler, curly headed. Get into it, baby. Get into it. Oh my God. Your son can never. Marina.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up because there's gonna be the next episode soon enough, and we will recap that one and then kind of chat about that. If you want to also see Real Housewives of New Jersey episode recaps, we got those for you too. But for now, we're gonna say goodbye, and hopefully you love the Real Housewives of Miami as much as we do and had a good time recapping it. Gotta go and leave nice comments. Thank you.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.